No.
Nope.
No.
Western Marketplace, request for selling tobacco substitute products.
This,
This is for selling vape. Vapes.
selling chewing tobacco and stuff like that.
Well, vaporizers, really
Oh, okay.
specifically.
Yeah, vape pen.
Yeah, vape pens.
He's
So
paid the
yes,
fee.
two as well, but
They paid the fee, Kim?
oh, we can't hear you, Kim. Sorry.
There's no,
No fee.
there's no fee for the town. They did pay the state.
It's just that they didn't quantify in the first one that it was going to be a tobacco substitute as well, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And we don't get anything on a
Clarify.
tobacco license.
I guess there's not much for us to do.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna move approval. And
I second.
All those in favor?
I.
Changes to the agenda.
If he's sitting right here.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Oh, yeah.
let's bump you.
So just go.
Yeah.
You're on.
We have very low permit fees, which that's not an issue for me. But to give you an example, $1 million house is $85 in Weston, and it's $1,000. But we don't have any fee for permit extensions or permit amendments. And I checked, and the state really wants those to be recorded, so they should be charging at least $15, but I was thinking $25.
Well,
For the permit extensions and amendments itself. Okay.
why don't you make up a list of what you think they ought to be and hand it to us and they adopt it. As long as we got something in writing.
Do our fees? I talked to Debbie Granquist about this a couple of times, and the fees for developments and stuff like that, with the DRB, and they're really, seems to me they're low, and they don't cover our. I mean, if we have to.
Well, we've raised them up, so they at least cover the cost of that.
Yeah, well, but then a lot of times, they'll have an engineer, and we've got to hire an engineer to check the work. That stuff ought to be.
Well, that may be a bylaw thing where you have to, I mean, the new Londonderry bylaws specifically authorize the town to hire legal help or engineering help and charges the applicant.
Yeah, there should be a paragraph or something in there that if the town has to hire a engineer or hire anybody for
Any
whatever.
profession.
I don't think the bylaw update is going to be soon, but
But
Well, we could.
what I'm saying is it should be so that town hires somebody to review the other party pays for.
we could do a interim bylaw to the select board to pass that.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Okay.
And this is talking about the permit for $85 as opposed to the one for that's for $1,000. Or are you talking?
No, well, he was talking about more complicated permits. The basic permit in Weston is $85,
Right.
whereas in Langrove it might be $400, and Peru might be $1,000.
Right. What is our highest permit that we?
Well, if it involves an ad in the paper, it's $150.
Is there any town it has zoning fees that, are a percentage of the, of the, or development or the. you
Yeah,
know,
in
permit
Niagara, it's by square foot, in Peru, it's by, it's a percentage of the value of the project. The problem with that is getting people to say honestly what the cost of the project.
Well, the other way we could do it is, I mean, when buildings are built, they've got to be assessed, right? So we could just do it on assessed value.
But the assessment comes after.
Right.
Then next thing is get them paid.
Well, we can just have, you know, a percentage of, what they think it's gonna cost. And that's what they have to pay up front. And if the assessment
Check it.
comes up higher, then they owe more, and if it comes up lower, then we owe them.
So, Peru, $1 million house is $1,000, so it's a 0.001%.
Yeah, which, that doesn't sound too wrong to me.
I thought nobody was here.
Um,
I Googled the town.
And, I'm on the board in, Esther's in the board in Londonderry, and that's $90, so it's a little, just a little.
Flat fee, $90. We're talking about zoning fees and building permit fees, is that right? Yeah. Well, come up with something so that we can, and it ought to cover everything, and then,
We have one that covers everything but permit extensions and permit renewals, and permit amendments. And then it doesn't cover legal costs or engineering costs. So
Yeah.
I'll do that all for you.
right.
Okay.
And it definitely ought to include those, and then we can,
Go from there.
all right,
Have a nice night.
Have a great night.
thank you. Listen, you were right on time.
I was standing outside going, I think I got the wrong day.
Why?
Because it looked dark and there was no other cars there.
It did look dark to me when I showed up.
I didn't see, there were cars, places to park.
So you can almost spot Danny's vehicle. Usually antique. The classic.
That one's only 36 years old.
Would you like to come up here and
Sure,
sit in a grown-up chair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like that.
my body
Better than-
hurts, so I need a good chair.
Oh,
I'm Katie Fitzpatrick.
I'm
Say that
sorry.
again.
Katie Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, I'm Esther Fishman. I won't remember you unless you're sitting right there next to me.
I usually sit right where you are gonna be, but that's okay. Well, I'll share for today.
Okay. Oh, nice, okay. So, I come bearing not great news, unfortunately, but as you know, I know you know, that we had to stop working at the transfer station because there were some complaints, and the complaints got to the state level, and so what I wanted to figure out was, okay, so if we can't burn, what can we do? And in reality, transfer station is an Act 244 site, which means that the town of Londonderry could burn at the transfer station, but all these years that we've been burning everybody else's wood, we weren't supposed to be doing. So I found that out because,
I have a question.
okay,
How can one or two people shut down something that's been going on forever?
so it was, it got ramped up. I got a phone call, I started getting emails, the Selectboard got phone calls, our town administrator got phone calls, the state got phone calls, they called me, they called our town administrator, so it got. And this person took pictures, and I think, and I could be wrong about this, but I think they walked right up to where the fire was, so it looked really huge. And sent those to the state. I sent them another picture saying this was yesterday's burn, which was just a small burn. when it was a rainy day. But that's what happened. It just got ramped up.
I mean, that's really not the Vermont way and it's not right. People move in here. I mean, they should have checked out the area before they bought and see what was going on.
Right. Well, you know how it happens, that people move in and they want it to be the way that where they moved from, and
Then why the hell they bother coming?
yeah, well, I guess they like the other stuff.
So I have a question then.
I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Okay.
So, doesn't really matter. I mean, it is what it is, but, people who are, the person, whatever it is, who's complaining, like, went and took, like, went onto the transfer station property, like, it's just open for anyone to go onto, or it's just because they're, like, bordering it? It's a next door neighbor.
It was
Yeah.
somebody who lived, that bought the Merrill property. It's right across from the transfer
Okay.
station.
What the hell did they expect?
Maybe they saw the place on Wednesday when we were closed. I don't know. But I know that I did not appreciate all of this coming down and coming down the way it did. But that's where we are now.
Yeah,
And
we're not gonna turn the state around on this.
no, because what they said is if they got one more complaint, they were gonna close all the
Whole
burning
thing.
down. Not the whole transfer station. Because we are certified to do other things there. We are certified, well, we're an Act 244 site to burn Londonderry wood
Right.
only. So we've been doing what we should have been doing, I guess, for a very long time. But I only come to find out about that because all of this happened. So I, as a result, I'm trying to figure out what the towns can do. And a couple of things came up, and they're not great, but if, do you have all this information that I asked that you sent? Yeah, okay. So, each town can become an Act 244 site, which means that if you could find a place where you think you could burn wood, clean wood only, you can apply, and this is the process to apply. The Act 244s are town specific. The other, something that other towns do is they find a site and they just pile clean wood and let it rot. So, we have the stump dump, which will stay open for stumps. The danger in that is when the wood starts to rot, it's not a solid surface anymore. You know this, right? That there's holes in it and you don't want to get too close because it'll get dangerous because of the way the material.
But couldn't you, I mean, in Londonderry, at the transfer station, couldn't Steve go down there with the backhoe and just sort of smash it down every once in a while?
So I think about once a year or so, we have somebody come with a big, not with a bigger machine than we have, to push it back. But you don't want people driving in to drop off their limbs and.
Is there a law that requires town to provide a spot?
To provide
A spot,
us,
a spot for like burning,
For
Or-
Russians?
for brush.
um,
Is it in the bylaws per se?
it,
I don't know.
well, you have to apply for this.
Or this-
permit.
it
No,
would be
that's
this-
not my question.
I'm sorry,
Is there a law that mandates the town to provide a spot for people to
No,
take?
no.
So in other words, you could say, well, the state don't want us doing this, take it to the state highway guards, let them deal with it.
If you could do that, that would be good, right? Just pile it right in front of their door. So the other thing is I try to find somebody else who would take the wood. I called Dave Shaves, he said we do not have the capacity to do that. And I called Hunter and talked to him, and he gave us the, you have it in your paper, it's a huge price. That's not the back. Sorry.
There is no back.
There's no,
Go here, you could take these. That's the back.
What was the,
here.
What was what?
you said it was a huge price to do.
Danny has the,
Oh,
yeah,
We'll make it
and you know, because you understand the ordinance more than I do, what that number means.
Yeah, I'll look at it in just a second.
So alternatives, become an Act 245, foresight, find a place where you can stockpile the stuff and let it rot, bring it to Hunter. I was racking my brain to try to figure out other alternatives and just nothing has come up. And you know, besides it hurting the towns, you have to clear after a storm. We have these people who are landscape artists or tree, whatever you call them.
Barbarous.
And thank you, that need a place. And we're very grateful that we were burning at the transfer station, and now they're gonna have to raise their prices if they're gonna bring their stuff to 100.
Yes,
So what do you think of that?
The load is what goes into like a dump truck or
how much is in a
6
load
yards or less.
of,
Well, it depends on your,
6, oh, this over the 6 yards, 20 yards.
oh,
Okay,
6
sorry,
yards, that's a dump truck?
I apologize.
be their yellow dumpster.
Yeah,
It's
And,
not-
20 yards would be a short, container, wouldn't it? Not
no, that big dump truck that Shaves has got, I think they call that a 20-yard body on
Okay.
that. What this is gonna do here, I think, just quick off the top of my head, I think this is gonna probably put some of these people into the business of contracting with Casella or Regurio Trash that have dumpsters. And you take a landscaping person who is small.
Yeah.
They may contract with them and say, give me a 16-yard dumpster. When I get it full, come get it and I pay you by the weight. Because I'm sure it doesn't show here, but hours of going into a place like this, you know, he's gonna have to have somebody there to watch us. And it
right,
doesn't-
I did say that to him.
You know, it doesn't say anything about hours, but off the top of my head, I'm gonna say that leave it up to the individuals. As long as we're not mandated, leave it up to the individuals and they'll be paid by user.
So individuals, you mean like the landscapers and the tree people, but what about the towns? Because realistically, the towns, when we have a storm and we have all the trees that have to be cleaned up, that's the bulk of what comes in, or what has been coming into the transfer station.
We haven't explored it yet, but there's possibility we might have a small parcel that just the town could use.
That's the stand put up by the CCC, yeah, that would be,
Down by,
you're gonna have to build a little bridge. to get
Right,
in
I
there.
understand it's gonna cost us some money.
Sure.
down by Mount Holly.
But we've been
There's
talking
like
about
a parcel of
you know,
land that we can maybe
using that
clear
one
out
way or the
Just
other for a long
outside.
time.
No, to use it as.
Yeah. We'd have to put a gate up and stuff. But,
And you could limit it to just town.
and so,
Yeah. Trying to figure out how to, you don't wanna staff that, so how are you gonna,
what's that?
oh, if you put a gate up and you could open it one day a week or something like that,
For where?
if we were gonna,
That's for town use only. Town
but
have their
how
own-
do you control that? Do you have somebody?
No, I'm
looking at it?
talking town highway use only.
Oh, town highway use,
Town highway
not
use.
individuals.
And then the individuals will find their own way either through Hunter or do the dumpster thing.
I don't understand though the dumpsters if they're collecting clean wood, because there is a state law that you have to separate clean wood out, where those dumpsters would wind up.
I'm sure they've got places to do it. Casella's a big corporation and
Oh, Casella, Casella's very expensive.
well, I hate to say this because I do some of this stuff. It's the cost of doing business. And nothing's cheap in it.
No, but there's competitive pricing with the haulers.
And so it's like you got Casella, you've got Gregorio, what's the other one around here?
Alba,
And they've got their own small dumpsters and stuff. So it's just gonna be amongst them competition to come up with prices that whoever wants to utilize them can do it.
well, I'm glad that you might have a site to do it for your guys, because we get a lot of material from Weston. So it's a problem. And I'm sorry, but
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry you didn't know I did this.
it's,
I would have thought we'd have been grandfathered under the 244 being as we've been in it from the beginning and we pay a bit fee to you guys every year for operation of the landfill.
well, the 244 never included
Weston.
towns other than Londonderry, which I didn't know. I did not know. I knew that we were certified to burn wood, but the Act 244 thing came up as a result of this fellow, John Wakefield, getting in touch with me. 'Cause he's from a different department.
John Wakefield is in,
Department of Environmental Conservation.
he's in a state guy.
Air quality and climate.
For air
Division.
quality, right,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
he's Department of Environmental Conservation, but we work under solid waste rules, and this is air quality, so it's a different department.
How does this go hand in hand with like people burning, like say for like landscaping, just being like, you know, they would then have to go to the fire warden
Right.
to
Yeah.
ask for personal burning, right? And
I-
how does that how does that go into the air quality management?
So one of the, I don't
Is
know
that
if
a
you're on
crazy question?
Facebook, but I forgot to turn off comments when I put that on. Some of the people were saying, fine, then we'll just all burn in our backyards. How was that okay, you know? So, I don't know what to say other than that's where we're at now.
I mean,
I mean, I won't mention names, but one outfit one time had a big stump grinder. And it cost, the piece of equipment was 20 years ago anyways. At that time, well, 30 years ago. Anyways, at that time, it was a $500,000 piece of equipment. And it had
that's
a
a
big
hell of a
disc,
stump grinder.
big disc gun. And it would take a whole tree stump and just grind it all up and everything. But the maintenance cost on it and everything was so high up in there.
And
Big
imagine-
Put them out of business, yeah. I
So-
can see that, because stumps have rocks in them.
Yeah.
Trash in them, you know.
So, here again, they're passing rules and regulations up there that they have no idea the end result effect.
We also explored the idea of chipping. And Hunter does have a commercial chipper, but there's so much stuff in the clean wood, if you bring like lumber, right? And there's
Oh, have
nails,
nails.
and yeah, so it's like,
It would,
not
it would
doing
have to be
that.
natural, like out, like wood from, you know, it'd have to be like tree wood,
No, it could be lumber, but lumber without any
without any nails in it. How do
nails in
you,
it or any metal in it, right?
Right.
So, and
You-
how do you,
how do you know?
You take somebody gutting a house for renovation, they're not gonna pull every
No.
nail.
no, right, so you
Guaranteed.
just can't monitor that.
And you just don't know whether
I mean, like the
somebody
house,
built
say,
a tree house in the tree 50 years ago, and there are a whole bunch of penny nails from the steps up to it, and, you know, the tree grew around it.
Right.
like the house across the river here that they put in dumpsters. I don't know which outfit hauled it away, but You know, I took 2 or 3 dumpsters, put a whole house in it, gone.
Oh, like the one in Londonderry too, looked like it's not a mobile home, but the one that the whole roof was washed down to the bridge in the last flood. It's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
So they,
Because he bought it and like 2 weeks later, there was a flood.
but, you know, these big Casella and these type guys, they're all geared up for this. It wouldn't be cost efficient for each individual little town to try to gear up to handle this.
Unfortunately, a lot of the smaller guys who do tree work for a living are gonna have to up their prices.
Well, because they'll have to manage the disposal of it with someone else besides
So I have
the
one
transfer
other,
station.
and I'm going to apologize for even asking this question, but certainly, you know, there's a certain amount of time that goes into managing the wood burning there. You know, Steve and Keith just go down and, I don't know, spend all 2 or 3 hours a week. And Londonderry is going to get the benefit of that, and we aren't. Is there any thought about adjusting fees
You
to
know,
make it a little cheaper or getting less?
the Wyndham Select Board had the same question,
Okay.
so I went to the Londonderry Select Board meeting and said, okay. So what one of our selectmen said was, we've been providing the service for free for years and we shouldn't have been, so they got the benefit. That
Well-
was the answer.
Well, okay, here's my response to that. You haven't been providing it for free. We have been paying fees, which have covered your costs, which include burning. So it's not free. We've been paying a fee, which included, we've been paying for this and getting it, and we're happy. But now you want to charge us the same and you're not going to provide us with that. So you,
Service which we should not have been providing.
absolutely.
So
That's not the point.
I would, if I were you, and I probably didn't explain it as well as a select board member did,
Yeah,
I would.
who should I call?
Tara Prouty is the one who made the comment
Okay,
or responded, so I would, yes. So
Okay.
I'm sorry I don't have happy news. I never come with happy news. Rick.
welcome. Yeah.
It was so nice to meet you.
This is,
It's like when that blue light comes
Happiest
on
news.
and guy walks up to your door. He doesn't have happy news usually.
as the, and looking at the news feeds in the last couple of weeks, you know, this is nothing. This is,
Yeah,
It's, you know, it's a changing world, and as more and more of them move up here, they're gonna make it like where they came from, so I can't understand why they even bother coming here.
and the other thing is that state is regulating more and more. And even for my job, what I have to produce, I think I came to and told you that I write a solid waste implementation plan every 5 years. And they have a form that I fill out and I have to sign my name that I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna visit this many businesses and I'm gonna, and it gets harder and harder and more and there's no funding for it either. Right, so,
I mean, unfunded mandates are something we talk about all the time, you know. The legislature,
so the idea that the state has is that we're making our environment better for everyone. What I keep saying to them, we're a very small group compared to some of the other solid waste entities, is one size doesn't fit all. And they just don't pay attention to me.
No, the state has got this mindset that, we are needy and we need this, and this. from all sorts, parts of the country. And, you know, we got along just fine for years. And then all of a sudden, oh, you need this, you need that. It's like, capital fund setup. We've got all kinds of funds set up, but it just isn't labeled the way they want it. They keep saying, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But we got plenty of funds set up for replacing equipment and this here at the office, that, so.
It gets more and more complicated. And it requires more and more staff to take care of it, track of it, report it. So, yeah, so I don't know if you have any more questions for me. You can send me email anytime. No hate mail.
What about fan mail?
Not likely, not likely,
No, it's just one of them
yeah.
things that, you know, the state does, and they just don't listen to anybody. They do
Well-
what they want.
They're up there, it's a much larger environment. We're very rural. We're small. They don't get that it's different, but you know, the other thing that's happening is, you know, and we know this because of what's happening with the school, with education, they want you to consolidate. So, you know, their answer to me is like, well, join a bigger district, join a district. It's like, well, if we join the, let's say, the Wyndham Solid Waste District, they might provide things like the hazardous waste collection or a place where you might be able to bring hazardous waste. But we would still have to contract to have all the trash and all the recyclables picked up separately. So
It would cost more money.
I don't know what the benefit would be there. I think I'd like the idea that small is okay, but.
Well, and it's, I hate to say this, and the transfer station is not the center of my social life, but it's pretty damn close to it. And I always meet somebody that I know there and have a nice conversation, so,
Yeah, well,
and hats off to you for doing,
Yeah,
doing
thank you for
everything you
everything.
do.
thank you. Okay, good night.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank
If
you.
you have any other ideas, I would love to hear them because I will share them with all of the other towns.
Oh, going down the state road, sounded pretty good.
Okay, good night.
Bye,
Good
Esther.
night.
Thank you.
So I guess we gotta give some direction here to Shauna, because I'm sure she's gonna get a bunch of calls about all this, and I guess it's up to the individuals to,
Well, there's, I mean, we don't have any ideas right now. Just, I
for
think
now, that's up to the individuals.
individuals have got to deal with it, and they can call folks, and, you know, we're looking at possibly having a site for the town stuff, but I don't think that can be a public site.
This is just, it's not big, it's
Yeah.
only about 2 acres. So by the time you get the trees cleared out there and
Yeah,
stuff, it's been a long time since I've been there, but I think 3 sites of it has natural walls.
that's right,
and
it's
wire.
only that one wall on the east side, if I remember right.
So it's been a long time since I've been in there, but I guess. I think before we get too excited about that place up there, I think we ought to get a,
It's not a bridge.
no,
Chipper.
well, no. No, I think we ought to get a, engineer probably, a site visit. And look at it under current state laws, and make sure they haven't claimed it as a, wetland. So it's that, we're getting the water before we
Yep.
do anything, that sound reasonable?
For sure. Point with all the ash and stuff, you know, if they think that's gonna go into the river. And
I would say that'd be my first move.
Yeah.
Is to
So who should we call? I think,
Does the Wyndham Regional Commission do anything with this?
there's an outfit up in Rutland. I can find out who they are. Take a look at it.
There isn't any
Sure.
way to like, as a town, make a contract with one of these, like, you know, one of
Hunter. or
Hunter
Casella.
or Casella,
Sure.
to then say if we did like a certain permit, like we're like I don't know, like we would like have a contract as a town with them, and then people would, I don't know how that would work, but is there any way that you do a contract with them as a town? Or
One
is
of the
it
things you're gonna have to have is a spot to do it.
Yeah.
right to drop everything off for them
You
to come
need-
even pick it up?
And
That,
Yeah.
yeah, and we don't necessarily, yeah.
I think you were here, Katie, but maybe not. Jim over there, Charlie. I said earlier this year, something like that, we needed to buy a piece of land.
I do
Where we-
remember that.
We could do something.
Yeah.
And this just hammers it home more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the one I looked at, got negative feeling for the wife.
One, sort of across from Greendale Road.
South. Side of it.
What about,
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about the one that, what is it, 17 acres, it's
Yeah.
for sale up.
is that still a possibility?
Pardon?
The 17 acres one, is that still a possibility?
We don't have the money.
Much.
What do they want, three and change for that?
But that was a possible site for even relocating for the firehouse,
That's true.
which then would, what, take money in through fire department and through the town to be able to buy it, or would just be the town buying it and then leasing it to the fire department, like we do now?
Let's not get things complicated. for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'll check on that land.
It'd be nice to have the fire department control burning.
Right? Is that,
Oh, yeah, they could
that'd
practice.
be hilarious.
Yeah, so I don't know how much this engineering outfit costs. for that. Be a while
It's
before
gonna
I
be
get home.
150 bucks an hour for 3 or 4 hours, so,
About 1,000 before they're all done, but
yeah.
Worth doing it though, I feel like.
Pardon?
I said, I feel like it's worth doing it if it had a positive outcome.
yeah, I mean, there's no sense spinning our wheels, get going, and then all of a sudden, oh, this wetland, you can't do anything.
It's,
Or I'll talk to Jeff, maybe he's got an engineer on his speed dial too.
Complicated.
what's in town? There's the plot right there.
Yeah.
But it's, all the trees have leaves on it. See where that is, Katie? You can see the,
Yep.
CCC,
Hmm.
road there, and if you wanna slide your thumb around, go down south on 155, you'll see my house and then your house.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Is this that app?
It's OX, it's a great app,
Yeah, I gotta download
it's
this.
for hunting, and it's like a $9 or $10 app. It's,
Flip phone won't take it.
pardon?
Flip phone won't take it.
No, no, but it's really great, because you can either scroll around, like I just did, or you can put yourself there and be walking land, so you'll know whose land you're on.
I gotta get this.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, so should we, what do we want to put in the minutes about what she and Kim are to tell people who want to know what to do?
They're on their own for the moment. So when we're working on figuring it out.
Okay.
A little more than that.
And then in the meantime, in the next 2 weeks, would
Won't
be
in the
like,
next 2 weeks.
or would it be the next 2 weeks?
Oh, no, this is gonna
It's
take
gonna-
months.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
take
be
some
months.
time.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time. We'd like it to happen that fast, Katie, but it won't.
Shouldn't say this, but, you know, for any resident who has a truck and a friend in Londonderry, they could
Right.
bring their stuff down to their friend in Londonderry. and have
Make
their-
friends with people in Londonderry.
Yeah, make friends. This would be a great
It's a good community exercise.
exercise in inter-community relations.
Mhm.
All right, so let's go back to number 3 and do the minutes of the last meeting.
Yeah, so, look at them.
Well,
Has anybody read these?
I have, I
Have
actually,
any comments?
everything looked good to me, but I also wanted to follow up on the permits that Jeff was talking about as far as for the driveways, like making sure everything's up to code. You know what I'm talking about?
The,
Just like
access permit.
the access permit forms.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to just follow back on that.
I have them
Um,
for the next agenda. Just-
Okay,
I didn't know what to do for the fee.
right.
We had talked about adding a refundable, $250 fee. I didn't,
I thought 250 was an appropriate amount.
but yeah, I have
Was
it
not,
for-
It was,
yeah.
yeah, it was an appropriate amount, not
Yeah.
too crazy, but I also feel like
Yeah.
I don't know how that works in the realm of comparison to the zoning permits and the costs and the fees of those. I just, but I do think that,
Why don't, if you've got a rough draft, Sean, Katie, so she can look at it.
Yeah.
Understand it more.
sorry. I just, yeah,
Have some reason.
no, yeah, it's great. Thank you.
So can we have a motion to approve these?
I'm so moved.
Second it.
All those in favor?
I,
The town meeting minutes are all set, right? This is just for our record, is it?
mhm.
They have to be approved.
I
Oh, you
would-
do?
Do we approve them now or do we wait until Brian or Linda are here?
I don't know the answer to that.
We keep putting it off.
And those are,
Yeah, let's,
all
you
the
wanna just
changes
do
have
it?
been made. that are-
Yeah, let's just do it then.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's just do it.
And we can approve it, and these aren't gonna be published in the town report for a long time, and they can be posted with just their signatures on them.
Yeah.
We'll get those other signatures so that it looks good in the town report.
Okay.
So I move approval, I move we sign it.
I second.
Oh, on the signature page, I'm just noticing, they left the T off, right, in Grandquist.
Okay.
That can be fixed.
Granquist with a T at the end.
I believe so, yes.
Okay,
Wayne Granquist. You got it right in the first page.
I'll just handwrite it in. He's been down to
Okay.
sign that 3 times.
Okay. Yeah, get out your calligraphy pen, Kim.
Yeah.
Do that nice italicized C.
Yeah.
Act 21.
Karen is not here, so
Yeah, well, let's table it, and if she shows up, we'll come back to it.
So next one's gonna be the audit draft acceptance.
Just go on and on.
Yes, it does.
So I had Greg Carroll review the audit because reviewing bank audits used to be his thing. And he didn't see anything unusual with it. And he said it looked like a normal audit. And Deb Granquist and I talked to the auditor last Friday about his comment that he wanted the Wilder Memorial Library financials included with the town financials. And it really is nothing more than they give me their year-end numbers and I provide that to the auditor.
Mhm.
And that's something that will work out before we get to the next audit, but it didn't sound like it was onerous.
So where's our signature page?
You just need to accept it. They just put a signature in there for me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna move that we accept it.
I second.
Motion? All those in favor?
I
Hey,
Thank you.
on number 8 is,
you will buy us.
yeah, and I didn't find it.
There's nothing in there because it's just me.
Yeah.
You're not,
No, well, we have closed on the Fidelity House. That's where we're standing with that right now, I
Yeah,
guess.
and it was,
Easy
boom, boom.
peasy, lemon squeezy.
so quick.
yeah, I mean, it was,
They were great. It was nice. Meryl did attend this one just because we didn't really know what was happening. But she said she would be available by phone for the next closing. And I do send her all the closing documents. She reviews them before we even sit down at the table. Jake Hart is next on the docket for his home, or Norman Hart. That's gonna be July 29th at 11. And then we have Mr. Hershey, who we don't have a closing date and there's still some inspections. He's about 2 or 3 months behind the other homes. But I haven't heard any next steps yet, other than that. So that's where we are.
that'll be July
29th
29.
at 11 for that.
we'll have 2 more selectmen's meetings before then.
And I'll keep, if something pops up, I'll let everyone know, obviously. But I was a little nervous just having it be the first one, and it went super.
It was super smooth.
It was, yeah. It was over 5 minutes.
If,
Yeah.
It's like 4.
Yeah.
It was great.
that's all I had.
And then there's not, I mean, I know the answer to my question that I'm asking, but just a waste of time, I guess, but there is no idea when this stuff is going to be demolished.
There still is no timeline of that. I think they have to, I think they would like personally to get all 3 closed and then bid all 3. So it's not, like as one job.
As one, yeah.
that was my understanding, but I'm not, I wouldn't quote me on that.
That would make all the sense in the world, have somebody come down and.
You're talking about the government, Jim.
Right, so,
Thank you, Denny.
Take it
Every
easy.
once in a while, I need to be reminded of that, but it still would make all the sense in the world,
it would.
but that, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're down to payroll and
I'm gonna move approval of payroll check warrant report number 12 in the amount of $9,012.43.
I second.
all those in favor?
I
I will also move approval of accounts payable check warrant report number 12 in the amount of $67,826.85.
I second that.
All those in favor?
I Thank you.
Old and new business.
I give me Linda's note from Lexi. I'll be seeing her the
Oh,
next
sure.
couple of days. And could you just give Brian a call and just let him know? Uh, If you have the, just give me the envelope for Linda. If she wants to stand up, she.
I haven't heard anything from Jeff, the engineer for the bridge. I think he's been looking at some boundary lines up in
Where?
Greendale, I forget the
Greendale.
gravel out.
Okay.
Little truck, they took it back to the repair shop again because all kinds of lights and codes are coming on it.
The thing's been in there for a long time though,
Just
at this point.
makes me crazy. I've got, keep getting text messages about code 49 malfunction on my car. It popped up 20 minutes after I had a minor service and my winter tires taken off. And a little orange steering wheel comes on with an exclamation point. And I gotta bring it in and have them look at it. And it's just,
There's some cars out there that you or I couldn't just go to the parts store, get a battery, and put it in
Yeah, like my car and your car.
because they have to have these jumpers to hook them so that it doesn't.
because if the voltage goes to zero, the whole computer system crashes and, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cars are not my department, so I don't know.
Yeah, me either. Transferring words.
Show me where the keys are.
Yeah.
Well, some people don't understand cars at all because I heard one lady say one day, But we don't use the air conditioning because it takes too much gas.
Well,
You know, I think I said that one time.
that's sort of semi-true.
That wasn't true.
It's semi-true.
Only joking, I
She's
never did.
not wrong.
I've heard nothing from Lisa, whether it's a septic or if they had issue.
Yeah,
So I suppose she's ready, so. Walk in and say, here it is.
yeah.
So other than that, I guess we're
We're adjourned.
adjourned.
Nice job, Jenny.
Good meeting.
No, I mean, I don't see where we could have done anything different on the brush stuff.
Oh, I'm